would take the company to even greater heights. But it was also a great responsibility, as we had to first give 10 lakh depositors access to their capital, which had been stuck in their PMC bank accounts for almost 2 years. My thought process was broken with the ping of an email hitting my inbox. Shorter notice for 11th board meeting. Its subject line read. To my surprise, within less than an hour of my informing the board that I planned to resume office, I was sent a mail from the company's secretary at BharatPay, informing me of a board meeting being called at short notice, within the next 3 hours. We were to meet at 8 p.m. the same day on Zoom. A bigger shock awaited me when I clicked on the file marked Agenda. Item number 5 stared at me. It said, to consider and accept the recommendation of the review committee to require Mr. Ashneer Grover to be on leave till March 31st, 2022. 25th January 2022, 8 p.m. My name is Ashneer Grover. I am attending this meeting on Zoom from New Delhi. There is no one else in the room with me. The mandatory roll call, in hindsight, was perhaps the only predictable part of this meeting. The chairman, Rajneesh Kumar, joined 10 minutes late, and his first order of business was to ask the Shardul Amarchand Mangaldas, or Shardul Amarchand, and Alvarez and Marcel team to leave the virtual meeting. Why had they been invited in the first place to a board meeting if they were supposed to leave? Wasn't the chairman privy to the list of invitees to the meeting? As the meeting began, it was stated that a resolution had been passed to set up a 2-member committee to assess the corporate governance practices of the company. This committee, constituted on 22nd January 2022, had engaged the services of the law firm Shardul Amarchand Mangaldas and Company on 23rd January. In turn, they had engaged the services of the accounting firm, Alvarez and Marcel. In fact, the engagement of Alvarez and Marcel was being brought up before the board for the very first time on 25th January. To my utter shock, I was further being told that Alvarez and Marcel had already come up with some alleged preliminary findings. What's more, on the basis of these findings, none of which I was privy to, the board's proposal was to put me on a compulsory leave of absence and strip me of my powers as MD. Some days later, I would go on to learn from media reports, no less, that the interim report of Alvarez and Marcel was dated as early as 24th January 2022. In which case, I was to believe that they had issued the report within 1 day of appointment and even before their official engagement by the board. In my entire career, I had never seen an instance of a lawyer or an accounting firm being appointed in a day. यहाँ तो इन्होंने काम भी खत्म कर दिया एक दिन में. They'd even released a report in a day. Even in my stunned state, as I felt severely let down with a blatant conspiracy brewing against me, I asked for an opportunity to present my views before agenda item number 5 would be taken up by the board, and I would be asked to drop off. I raised objections about the need for and composition of the review committee and said that it did not comply with the shareholders' agreement and the articles of association of the company. I also pointed out that the corporate governance review covered the entire company and not only me. So by that logic, everyone should be on leave. If I was being singled out, was there any complaint against me? At whose behest was the law firm appointed? My questions were met with deafening silence at the other end. Then I heard the chairman, Rajneesh Kumar, saying, "You may drop off from the call now, as we need to put the proposal to vote." I would find out later that the proposal was passed unanimously, of course. All of this, interestingly, when I did not have any communication from the board accusing me of any wrongdoing, and when the so-called review was meant to be a review of corporate governance policies, practices, and